All right, so I said that I would give you a breakdown with the numbers to see why it's so important for you to preserve the wealth of your rental properties. And this is just an experience of mine. Everybody's may not be the same. The margins may not be the same. The tenants may not be the same, but this will give you an idea of the importance of preserving that home so that you can continue to print cash from it. So I want to break down a couple different things. First, let's talk about what the old rent was on this particular property. So the old rent on this property was $600 a month, right? Now, mind you, I put $8,000 into this renovation. $8,000 is what I put into renovating the home to make sure that it's up to par for the next tenant. So now that I've put that money into the property and it looks beautiful, the new rent on this property is $895. I can ask that now because the property looks gorgeous. It's ready. You can't justify bringing the rent up on the property if it doesn't fit the market, if it doesn't fit the area that your home is in, and you can't justify that rent if you didn't put the proper money into it and you didn't put the money in the proper places. Now, I put the money into things like new flooring, stainless steel appliances, updated the kitchen, updated the bathroom, central AC, fencing for the yard. Cut down a huge tree that was overlapping the house. Of course, that's important. That probably really doesn't benefit the tenant as much as it benefits me, but it's important that I do it. Landscaping, fresh paint, new light fixtures. All of these things are important so that I can justify asking $895. Now I want to give you a breakdown so you can see what the annual difference is. $600 a month. What would my company be bringing in on that amount per month? So 6,000 times 12, that would be, let's make it green, $7,200 annually is what this amounts to, right? Now, let's see the difference from $600 and $895. What will that generate for a year? So the annual difference from these two, $895 times 12 would be $10,740. Now, just by looking at that, we can already see that that's a big difference. $7,200 a year annually is what it brought in at the old rent, right? And this is the new rent. That's the annual difference in what it brought in. I don't know about you, but I like that number a lot better. It's not really that much of a difference. It's not huge to the point where it's double, but it's very much close. Now, let's see how I get my $8,000 back. How quick can I get that $8,000 back that I invested? Well, everybody's situation is different. Normally me, I do a minimum of a 2-year lease. So what does that look like on a 2-year lease? That means that I have a committed tenant that's willing to stay into my house, inside of my home, for 2 years, right? And normally, if you're willing to stay inside of a home for that long, for 2 years, you may have the possibility of staying longer, as long as you're treated right, as long as the property is treated right, as long as we have good communication. It's easy to get people to stay a lot longer. I even have tenants that have been in my homes for, right now, the longest one, I would say 7 years is the longest. Now, I haven't been doing it that long, and I've heard people having their tenants stay in their homes a lot longer, but my longest experience is 7 years. Before I break down how I'm getting that $8,000 back, let's compare the difference of these two. So the difference between these two is $35.40. There's my difference between these two. An extra $3,540 a year. All right, so let's see how we get that back. How we're gonna get that back is, of course, my 2-year lease, and then we're gonna subtract the difference of $600 and the $895. And that difference is $295, right? Now this is a rough estimate, but in order to get back my $8,000, it'll take me roughly 27 months. Roughly 27 months to get back my $8,000. Now, the tenant in the 2-year lease has already taken care of 24 months of it. Now, I'm just banking on them staying an extra 3 months. More than likely, like I said, if they are treated right and the property is kept well, they'll stay past that 24-month mark. Now, preserving the wealth of the home is not always about profit, how much more I can put into my pocket. It is more importantly that you better the community. So I love win-wins, but renovating a property and bringing that property back to life is actually a win-win-win. Number one, it increases your portfolio. It increases the cash flow inside of your portfolio. Secondly, now I'm not listing them in order of importance, but this is important just as much as this is. It changes the community, right? Because if I let the house go down and I'm not taking care of it, I depreciate the asset, I depreciate the neighborhood, and so on and so forth. It just trickles down from there. Third, why wouldn't I want to create a beautiful place for a tenant to live? See, the problem is there's not a lack of homes. There's a lack of good landlords. That's really where the problem is. I hear so many complaints when I talk to people about how their property is or how their landlord treats them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, there's not a lack of homes. If you get on the market right now, you can see that there's hundreds and hundreds of homes in your area that you can rent from, right? The problem is this value worth paying based off of the condition of the property, based off of how the landlord is going to treat me, or how he looks at my quality of living? So it's a win, win, win for everybody. Now we can dig and dive deeper into it, but I just wanted to simplify it for you so that you can see how important it is to renovate that property. And don't look at it as if you're gonna lose that $8,000, because if you don't spend it, this goes down. Who's gonna wanna stay in your beat up house and still continue to pay that old rent? They're gonna look at it like, that's a $500 a month house. Why would I wanna stay there? So don't always look at it like you're gonna be losing this cash. You're getting it back just over a little bit longer period. So regardless of that, even after the tenant stays and the tenant stays longer, you're still going to continue to get this $295 a month. Now, how awesome is that now that you've renovated the property, and next time you come in and the tenant moves out, you won't have to do as much because you've already lifted up the scale of the property. All right, well, that is all that I prepared for you today. If you have any questions, comment below. And even if there's something that I'm missing, I'm not shy to learn something new. I'm learning just like you all, but it's nice to bounce ideas. Maybe you could open up my mind and show me something different. Put all of those awesome comments below so that we can grow together. Again, I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you continue to support myself and my channel. Take care.